Hello and welcome to episode 4 of Kerbal Speed Program. My name is Jim, and today we're going back to Moon. Let's show you something first here. I don't have docking ports yet, so I was going to build a multi-part vessel and put it in orbit around Moon and have a lander and all kinds of interesting stuff, but I need to gather a little bit more science to unlock docking ports. Hitchhiker, storage container, basically the science node, technology node. So we need to do at least one solo mission landing on the Moon. So let's start with... actually no, we gotta start with some kind of lander. So we need that. We need to decouple it when it comes back to Kerbin. We need goo pods. We need a parachute. Our basic capsule that will bring us back safely with all our delicious science. Finally do have solar panels and all that stuff, so let's put that. And then also, okay, so below this we need science container. Let's see, for landing, how do I want to do this? Trying to make this a little bit different from the landers I did in the tutorial series. Alright, so that there. Three of those. Lots and lots of landing legs. Is that even? Yeah, it's close enough. Let's get some solar panels on here so we'll have an emergency supply of electricity when we need it. We can also do temperature probes. Don't need symmetry for that. Just need one. Some extra ladders up front here. Just to give extra stuff to grab onto while EVAing and flying around with the jetpacks. And of course engines. Alright, I think we have a good basic little lander here. I'll be back. I'm going to make a launch vehicle. It should be very similar to the ones that got us to the Moon for the flyby. So I'll see you in a moment. Alright, I'm back, and I think I've over-engineered this sufficiently. We have our lander part, we have a stage to get us into lunar orbit, and we have our big booster stage here. The big fuel tanks in the middle, 3 outboard rockets feeding into the middle, and then extra rockets here for when these drop off. I still have enough thrust to get the remaining weight into orbit. So, let's see who gets to go land on the Moon. Jebediah, you're out. Rod, Brett, Sidlong. Okay, so Calmy Kerbin is the next candidate. Not very courageous, but we shall see. Double check staging. Alright, let's get this puppy in the air. Alright, Calmy is pleased so far. Oops, I forgot to put gantries around it, but it looks like it's hanging together alright. So let's put SAS on. Throttle up. Let's try kind of there. 3, 2, 1, and lift. That seems about right. A little bit of a wobble, but not too bad. Speed is climbing nicely. Let's see how long these outer stages last. staging time. Boost the thrust. Speed's climbing nicely, staying under 200 as we approach 10,000 meters. Start a gravity turn. Oop, a little bit of wobble. And I've lost the supporting struts for the upper structure. Question is, do I have a long enough burn to get into orbit? Alright, a pretty decent climb rate so far. Let's turn this over a bit more. Get this to orbital elevation. Alright, that'll do the trick. And decent enough fuel up. I think this might be enough to get us close to orbital velocity, and then this should get us to the moon. I might need a little bit more delta V overall to make this a better mission, but we just really need this one mission to get enough science to be able to set up a more elaborate station and mission to moon and Nimbus. Alright, certainly doesn't want to roll very quickly. Only have the capsule providing torque, so we really need the engines on. Oh, into space. Alright, let's keep that at 30 seconds or so. Maintaining altitude. Building up our velocity to that all-important, like, 2,200 meters per second for orbit. But running out of fuel quickly. Yep, there it is. I don't think this is going to be a successful mission. Take a look at it after I get into orbit. See how much fuel I have left. 13 tons. Getting close. There's quite a bit of delta V in one of those large, small tanks with one of the regular engines. Oops, still need to... a little bit more. Losing some altitude, but not too much. Oh, there we go. Now this just has to reach orbit. Alright, 70, 74. Okay, that'll be good. Okay, we used up about a quarter of the tank. A little more. So I think we have more... we were at 1,200 and we got... so we had... that was about 1,000 delta V. No, not that much. I think it was at 1,500 when we lost our big tanks. So that was about 700. So I think we have enough to actually do this mission. And again, if not, that'll set up a rescue mission. Alright, about 860. Again, it's really sensitive for that first. This is somewhere around there. Alright. I will see you when we get to our maneuver. Jump. Cut. Alright, we're ready for the burn. So we have a 50-second burn. Yeah, I think this will get us to the moon. Maybe start slowing us down. We do have a lot of extra fuel in the lander itself, so we can use some of that. Nope. Wow, already out. Okay, well, let's... Well, let's go for it. This is barely using any fuel at all, so I think we're gonna be okay. Alright, I'm gonna cut that off there, and let's go to this view. And let's do this last little bit very carefully. Alright, 428,000. 256,000. Let's get to about 100. There we go. That'll do it. Alright, I'll see you at the moon. Ready for a jump cut. Alright, we are approaching the moon rapidly. Let's do a really quick screenshot of this. This is pretty cool. Alright, so coming up on the moon, let's get our maneuver, get into orbit. So we need to burn about 500. No, not that much, about 200. 270 meters per second to get into orbit. It's going to get closer to this burn, 25 seconds. Alright, that's close enough now while I spin around to the correct heading. And bring this down to close to the time. Alright, let's do a half thrust. It's going down pretty quickly. And fuel use seems okay. Question is, will I have enough to get down and enough to get back up? Alright. Those are swap, that's good enough. Alright, where do we want to land? Well, we have an orbit with this crater there, so let's go ahead and land in the crater. So we need to drop another 87 meters per second. Alright, I will see you when we get around to the other side. Jump, cut, and now we are ready for our burn to get down to the ground. Let's do this nice and easy. Oof, camera swap. Alright, let's see what that's giving us. That looks about right. Fly long, and then we'll cut it short. Alright, let's get closer. As soon as we get to around the edge of the crater, then we'll start the slow down burn. Alright, right about there, looks good. Let's get our retrograde. Alright, let's spin around to put the nav ball kind of in a vertical position. Alright, you guys ready? You ready? Let's put the gear down before we forget. Turn on the lights. Alright, let's start this maneuver. Surface reading. Mostly want to cut our horizontal velocity now. Are we over the crater? Yes, we are. And just follow our retrograde right down to the ground. This is just a nice, slow, steady burn. I think I'll be okay. 14,000. We can let that drop a bit. Also want to cut horizontal right now. And then just let this head towards the ground. And we'll cut the rest when we're closer. Electrical charge is holding you with the lights on. County looks fairly confident and happy about the situation. Let's get kind of a side view. 8,000 meters and falling. Starting to see some of the speckles on my screen. You probably won't see it on the video, but ground scatter. Alright, let's start. Alright, let's get this more vertical. That's always my problem with landings, is coming in too sideways. Fuel's good though. Alright, can we see our shadow yet? Where are the lights? Whoop, started going back up again. Gives me time to at least look around. Does the groundhog see his shadow? Oh, there's the lights. So just need a little bit of thrust. Keep it slow. And down. We are down. County, you have done it. You are the first Kerbal on the moon. Alright, to celebrate, let's do some science. Now let's get our little temperature probe first. Log the temperature. 32 science from that little guy. Big old materials bay. 100. 2 goo pods. So we'll get that, scrape that little bit of extra science here. So that's about 9 extra. Alright, and I'm getting, let's turn off SAS, see if that stops that wobbling. These legs must be up a little bit higher. I think this one's kind of floating. Alright, electric charge is still good with the solar panels. Okay, we need a crew report. We need an EVA. And let's see, EVA just above the moon's east crater. Let's take the data. I'm bored with that data. EVA again. Alright, let's go ahead and just climb down the ladder. And while we're right here, collect the data out of the science canister. Alright, you ready to actually set foot on the ground there? Bingo, alright. Yay! He's happy. Let's take the surface sample first. Interesting, 120 science, wow. EVA report. East crater, okay, so that's where we are. So now let's plant the flag. Alright, site name. East crater. Landing 1. I made it, guys. I made it. Very cool. Alright. So let's pose for a picture. Alright. Ready to go home now? Just gonna take a wider look at where we are. We're kind of up on... actually kind of high on this. That's a deep valley down there. Didn't realize there was that much change in elevation. We found a nice flat place to land, so that was good. Alright, let's see if we can get you home. Throw on your backpack. Fly up, fly forward. Grab, grab, grab. There we go. Board. Let's review all the data we have. Okay, material study. EVA report from the ladder. EVA crew report. Surface sample. EVA report from the ground. Plus we have the 2 goo pods. Keep the data. Alright, you ready to take off and go home? Fuel is a bit of an issue. Well, let's see what we can do. Alright, SAS on. Let's see, east is... 90-degree mark is up there, so... Alright, 3, 2, 1, take off. Lean the sucker over. Alright, let's see what that's got us. Alright. Let's get some altitude and some speed. Need about 700 meters per second, I believe, to get into orbit. Fuel, come down, we're still okay. Alright, let's go ahead and leave it at that. Get up here and circularize. 15 and 34, that'll do the trick. Alright, now we want to drop down the Kerbin. I think we have just enough fuel to do it. Alright. So what we want to do is have that escape vector going as directly against the moon's orbit as possible to drop this far down, so that we don't have to burn as much fuel to get into the atmosphere. Because right now that's 2.2 million. 2.5 million, so we were correct with that. 2 million. 2 million still. I think if we do that, we can kind of cut down... Oops. Using the mouse wheel to adjust the delta V. It's getting used to that. Oops. Goes down really fast, but up really slow. Yeah, let's try that. Yep. Alright, somewhere around there. We just need to get out of the moon's orbit. We're over on that side. Let's get this over with. Get home, claim that science. Get some new tech. And start planning the next set of missions. Alright, spin the sucker around. Alright, let's get rid of that. Let's see how far we can bring this down. Alright, let's go and just do that. Looks like we'll have just enough fuel to get this down the rest of the way and return safely home. Just a slight burn. 1.4 million. Cutting it close. Cutting it close. This last little bit, I think we'll just make it. 10 units of fuel left. Okay, we have a collision course with Kerbin. Glad I put those extra tanks on top of the lander. Just make sure I don't blast through my intercept here. Let's go ahead and get into a direct view. We can turn SAS off. Sun. Where's Kerbin? There's the moon. There it is. Alright, here we come. We are in the atmosphere. Alright, I'll give you guys some fire and then we'll see you on the ground. Coming in at 3,200 meters per second. Get around some islands. That's a nice Fury re-entry. Alright, fire's gone, guys. I will see you at the ground after another jump cut. Alright, about to land. And as I was coming down, I realized I forgot one thing. I forgot to collect the temperature data from the thermometer. So we lost a little bit of science there, 32, I believe. But still, we collected 375 this trip, so that's a really nice chunk. Alright, let's first make sure we get what we need for our big plan for the moon and Minmus, which is docking ports. So 160 science there. Let's go ahead and finish off this part of the tree. Alright, we need some bigger stuff. So let's go ahead and get the big... Actually, let me just double check some of this other... Well, once we get that, we can officially do asteroid missions. Don't need plane parts. Don't really need probe parts yet. That would come in handy. Barometer, we really won't need it on the moons, so that's not going to help us with science. And that, yeah, so let's go ahead and go for the big stuff so we can start hooking huge structures into space. I just have to go with the regular... This is the other thing I could use, but I just have to go with a lot of the little panels to keep our electrical charge up. Alright. So, that will do it for episode 4 of Kerbal Speed Program. We'll get into some really... This is kind of a transitional episode, just trying to get that last bit of science we need to unlock stuff that really gives us some interesting parts for space stations, rendezvous, and all that jazz. So, I want to thank you for joining me. My name is Jim. Have a great day.